In all my years as a developer, one of the things that I dreaded most is starter kits. Why? Well, when you start working at a company, okay, and you're a junior developer, and they say, well, here is the application you need to work on, then you take a look and you start learning the ropes and learning all the things in the code. But soon you found out that application you're working on was created from a starter kit. Whoa, it's amazing. The company I work for, has a starter kit. Now, what's the problem though? Well, then you go to the starter kit repo and docs, and you see it's completely different from the structure of your application. Ouch. But wasn't it created from the starter kit? Yes, of course it was created from the starter kit. It was created from the starter kit of 2 years ago. It has changed because best practices changes, they evolve, and applications are not kept up to date. And there is no way to do, because a starter kit is just something that you take at the beginning, and you take that code that it's in there and then you reuse here. So there is no way to maintain and upgrade that code over time. So the company the junior developer works for is called Acme, and in Acme they looked at a solution for this problem. And in the solution, they started thinking of adopting Platformatic. So how can Platformatic help in this situation? Well, Platformatic allows you to stack multiple components, multiple applications on top of each other, multiple modules on top of each other. And we call them Stackables. And let's talk a little bit about them, because they are unbelievable, or what they are used for. We go to GitHub, Acme, Testbed, and this is our application, okay? And in this tiny application, they have a platformatic.json, which is plenty of cool, some TS file and some routes. Let's take a look, okay, at the dependencies here. Here we have a nice dependencies of Platformatic Acme base, okay? Well, we released it on our main org, but you could use yours if you want to. And if we look at npm, and this module is actually very simple, and it shows how to use Acme base, okay? And this is the base module to structure all our app. So provides all the things for us, and it has you can have a test route and all the things. And let's take a look at how this works. So in order to start this, you go and do npx platformatic start to start our app, and and it says dynamite enable, and then we'll talk a little bit about that. And here's empty, of course, and then we can go into test, and this has word true and dynamite. Wow, kaboom! It's plenty of cool, right? So but how is this assembled, and where does this dynamite route comes in? Well, the managers at our Acme company decided that all applications should have a dynamite route, and because from time to time you want to explode, right? So and they even have a configuration here, which is the dynamite. And all of this is also completely and fully type safe. So you see, we can have we use the configuration from Acme. So all of these, you get auto completion and type safety and all things that you might want. But one of the nice things here is we have this dynamite route, but we knew that, so we couldn't even change it. Okay, and we can change it to false. Note, you see that there is this nice schema block here. This is a URL that you can release your schema for your JSON file, for this configuration file, and in this configuration file, so that you can have, auto completion. So for example, you can, this is, if I change this dynamite shoe, you see that I get immediately flagged by my editor. And if it works on Vim, it probably works on VS Code and IntelliJ and other things. So, and we can control it. If I remove dynamite and I start my app, okay, oh, you see that it crashed because this is not true. And now the root dynamite is not there anymore. Nice, right? It's super cool. Okay, and I can also, require that in certain environments, for example, only we have OpenAPI in certain environment, or we have certain security policies applied in any environment, and you can control and shape whatever Fastify instance you have, your application is doing. So, but how does it work? How can you write those components? Okay, so let's go and take a look at Acme Base, because I think it's actually very interesting to see this repository. And in this, it's actually edit. So now that we have a test bed, okay, we can even take a look and try to see where we can deploy this. Okay, so let's we have disabled our dynamite, okay, and then we can create a new PR. And we just change the config, not this, okay? We have also have environment variables. So you can change and configure them and set them in your GitHub Actions. So here are the GitHub action for our app. So this is the deploy for the PR previews, okay? And as you can see, we have a few environment variables set up, okay? And a config path, and then here is the deployment for our main workspace. And it's super easy, same stuff. And then we do, dynamite off. And then we can take this up and go and open a pull request. Why? Yeah. Okay, we create a new pull request with the dynamite. And as you can see now, the PR previews PR preview GitHub action is going to take this on, and it's taking on and deploying it to Platformatic Cloud so that we can do our things, so we can test this out. This usual process takes a few minutes, so maybe 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes. So that we need to do npm install, upload the bundle, and ship it to the cloud. Note that all of this is available both as Platformatic Cloud and as Platformatic Enterprise, but you can use this feature, to be honest, with whatever you want. Okay. Now, while this is deploying, let's take a look at our service. Okay, our base service. Now, what you see we can do here, we have a base plugin, the main Fastify plugin for your application, and you see that we read this config variable, which is the dynamite config, and we register it, and then we register a plugin, which is the dynamite plugin. Okay, and then we also have some other stuff in here. So one thing here, we specify the custom schema for the configuration file, so you can actually edit and alter the configuration schema as much as you like. Add new functionality, remove what is there, you can change it the way you want. Also, you can specify and alter the configuration before it's actually validated. So in this specific case, we force that the only two directories that a module can use, an application can use, are plugins for your non-encapsulated plugins and routes that are encapsulated, and those are the only paths that are available. But we also need to check if those are directories, otherwise we just don't try to even load them, which is great. Okay. Talking a little bit about the schema, here we have the schema, which basically takes the concept from the original Platformatic service schema. It adds a dynamite property, a module, which will show it in a moment why, and we remove plugins because in fact plugins are handled otherwise. Okay, so and here it's the configuration is the types, so everything can be fully typed. In fact, we have the config that is actually fully typed. which is fantastic, right? You see we have calcme base config here, which is fully typed. And how is that generated? Well, it's generated with a very simple utility called JSON schema to TypeScript, and we take the output of our schema.js file and write down here is the config. This is just a massive file, to be honest, that includes all the definitions for this, so that you can actually have complete control. Your developer have complete control on what the platform, what the schema allows to set, which is great. And now our application is finally deployed, so we can even open it up here. And if we go to test, you can see that it's working, and it says that AskDynamite is false. Yes, okay. Seems fantastic, right? So you can even decide, for example, to enable OpenAPI for all your apps, or OpenAPI only if the environment is development or staging or you can do all the things if you want with these settings, both in the configuration, the transformation of the config, and the plugin definition. So it's incredibly powerful. And thank you for watching.